Well, Bob, it is always nice to see you again, fellow Texan.
It's good to see you again. It's good to be back with you again.
We haven't talked for quite a little while, but...
That's because I'm a very slow writer.
But I knew, of course, that you were working on Nadine and shooting it down in Austin, but I had no idea, Bob, what it was about until I saw it last night. And if I had just walked in the theater after all the credits and everything, and I was sitting there, I might not have guessed that you were the writer-director. Now, has anybody else...
Oh, yes, yes. A number of people have said it. I think that because of Kramer versus Kramer and because of Places, I think when people think of me, they think of a much less lighthearted movie. And this time when I started to work, I was working on another picture that was quite serious, and I thought, this character came to me of Nadine, and I liked her enormously. And at one point, about 10 years ago, I had done a comedy adventure movie called The Late Show, and I had a great deal of fun making it, and it was a picture I'd always had an affection for. And I decided I didn't simply want to do every movie to be serious and solemn. I wanted to sort of get a change of pace. And I decided to do this movie about married life in the spirit of the old 40s movies with Rosalind Russell and Cary Grant. Those movies like The Awful Truth or His Girl Friday, movies like that.
I know that you frequently work from your own experiences since you are a Texan and since this story is in Austin, Texas, laid in Austin in 1954. I wonder if it has any sort of personal connection.
Well, it's less a movie about geography than Places was. Places was about Waxahachie. It was about the community that I grew up in. This is a movie about marriage. It's a movie about what an adventure marriage is. It's in effect a kind of romancing the stone for married people. It is, I've been married, as I said, for 23 years. It has been a roller coaster the whole time. And I have been very happily married. I think that I wanted to do a movie that was less solemn, that was more lighthearted, and that's, I think that's true.
I have never met your family, I don't believe. Is your wife in the business, or was she ever?
My wife's a painter. No, my wife is not in the business. My son is not in the business. She is a remarkable woman. I said to her when I screened the picture the first time, I said, now listen, there's a lot of you, you're going to see a lot of you in this movie. You hear a lot of things you've said to me at various times. Just don't get nervous about it. And she said, okay. And our son was with us. And at the end of the movie, I said, well, what did you think? And she said, well, I don't think that's like me at all. And my son looked at her and said, yes, it is. It is hard for me to do a picture without drawing upon people in life. Now, it's not only my wife. There's a great deal of Kim Basinger herself in it. There's a great deal of people I've known at other times in my life, people I knew in Texas. I said it in Austin because that was a time when there was a place I loved and a time I was very happy. I drew upon some people from that time as well as from this. But I think of it as a very personal film, less connected with geography than Places was, and more connected to a kind of emotional state or a situation that I call marriage.
Bob, do you ever stop to think, especially when you were working on this, that now, because of Places and your Academy nominations and everything and awards, that people have a certain expectation, and that this being a lighter film, that maybe people won't be as receptive to it?
It's possible, and that's always a risk you take. But I, a long time ago, discovered that I'm not in the Oldsmobile business. My job is not making a 1987 Robert Benton that has an airbag in the front seat and a radio in the back seat. My job is to make the movies that reach me deeply in a certain kind of way. And my job is to stay fresh and alive as a filmmaker. And part of how I do it is by not making the same film again and again. So this is part of that process. And yes, I'm certain there will be people who will expect something other than what's there, but maybe the next time their expectations of me won't be quite so narrow.
What is the next time then?
Well, now, that I'm not telling. I've learned over the years that every time I say, what am I going to do? When somebody says, what are you going to do next? And I say, well, I'm planning on doing this, that I never do it. So this time I'm going to try and not say what it is I'm doing next and see if in fact it turns out that I do it. If that doesn't happen, then I'll go back to telling what I'm doing next.
Will you shoot in Texas?
I don't know. Then I'm starting work on something that I don't know if I will work out, that is a very risky film and a very different film for me. I'm not certain it's something that I'm going to be able to pull off. Therefore, I really don't want to talk about it until I've finished the screenplay and shown it to a few people, and we make our decision then.
Well, Bob, it is always good to talk with you. I always look forward to it, as I look forward to your film. So surprise me next time. That'll be just fine.
Thank you very much. It's lovely to see you again.
Thank you. Okay, got it.
Bobbie, could you lean a little more to your right side of the chair?
Okay.
There you go.
Ready?
Great.
Go ahead.
Bob, is there any personal connection at all with this film? Let me say that again. Bob, is there a personal identification with this film? What was the reason you shot it in Austin? Is your own wife in the film business at all? Why did you want to make this kind of film? Bob, because of your past films, your awards and nominations and everything, people have a certain expectation of a Robert Benton film. Now, are you prepared for people who are going to be surprised at this kind of film? Okay, let's just do some reactions then. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I enjoyed this.